Nobody questions the fact that the current financial system is corrupt, perished, and is targeted to win-lose direction. But how do you survive in this corrupt system and come out of it with a genuine success? Whether you run a small or a big business, or you work for an organization or a business of any size, Ray Dalio has some brilliant ideas for you on how to thrive and succeed. Even more importantly, these principles can be applied not only for the success of businesses, but also for efficiency in any setting where few people have to deal with each other. Hello, fellow shrewd investors. Welcome to another video in your channel. First, I would like to thank you for your support of my past videos and spreading the word. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe and turn on notification bell. Don't forget to like the video, it helps a lot with YouTube algorithm who works hard to subdue and quieten contents of awakening nature. So, let's go into some important parts of Ray Dalio's interview.
Idea meritocratic decision making is the best decision making. In other words, that if you do this well, you will radically improve what your decisions are.
So, Ray Dalio talks about a kind of decision-making process that he calls idea meritocracy. But what is an idea meritocracy?
Well, an idea meritocracy is when the best ideas win out. And the way that you have to have it, there are 3 steps that you have to do. First, you have to put your honest thoughts out there. A lot of people have problems doing that, but you have to welcome others doing it, and you have to do it, so you have to put them on the table to look at them. Second, you have to have thoughtful disagreement. In other words, the ability to take in and have a back and forth in a quality way so that you can make better decisions than you could make individually. And we have protocols for doing that are described in the book.
He is referring to his book, Principles. He has a couple of other books, all starting with Principles, where he further details from different angles, but the core ideas and principles remain the same. Let's continue with Ray Dalio.
And then third, you have to have ways that if disagreements remain, that you think are fair, appropriate, agreed upon ways of getting past that disagreement, because not everybody's going to get what they want. And the problem that most people have at that point is that either there is an autocratic decision maker or a democratic decision maker. Neither of those work well. The autocratic decision maker is just the guy who's the boss who says, okay, well, now I'm going to do this. That's a problem because others don't own it, and how do you know that you're right? You can't be arrogant. And then there's democratic decision making, and that means everybody has the same votes, the same opinion. That's not sensible because they have different merits to that.
So, it is obvious that autocratic decision making is prone to fail. But as you see, Ray Dalio suggests that a democratic decision making is not an optimal strategy for the success of a business or an organization either. Obviously, we are not talking about how a government should run. Let's continue with Ray Dalio.
So if you have an idea meritocracy, you have to know also the merit of people's thinking. And so we go through the process of being able to identify in fair ways, in ways that we all agree to, of ways of knowing what's the merit of each thing. And we literally have scores of these tests and whatever they are that become the scores. So we have believability weighted voting. So, I mean, literally, if I'm running something and we're in a group and 3 people who have higher levels of believability than I do think that it should be one thing and I think it should be something, there's going to be a questioning back and forth. I put myself in the mode of a learner so that I can take in and then make the best decision. You have to know that the best decision that you can make isn't necessarily the one that you're attached to that's in your head. That's idea meritocratic decision making.
This is very important, actually everywhere and in every aspect of our life. Our attachment to a decision sometimes blocks us from embracing alternative decisions that could be potentially more beneficial to us. Here, Ray Dalio points at a very critical aspect. To come over the own egomania and habits of I know better or As I said, sometimes this attachment doesn't come from arrogance or self-overestimation necessarily, but for a reason it sits better in our head. So it is important to give to the other people's ideas, to alternative thinking and decisions a chance to be evaluated in a fair and objective manner. Of course, the main point is the merit of each opinion. Let's listen.
I want to talk about how do people adjust to an environment like that where they have a believability score? What is believability?
Believability means that some people have a greater probability of having a better insight or a better opinion than something else. I'll use an example. You have a medical problem. Okay, your own believability on the subject is low.
Right.
You go to a doctor. Okay, that doctor has a certain level of belief. Another doctor has another level of believability. You want to handle it well? Go to 3 highly believable people who are willing to disagree with each other and hear that disagreement and interact and bring out that disagreement and see where there's agreement so that you get to the other side. So when you either have agreement or you understand the disagreements, you're then in a position to make a better decision. That's an example of believability-weighted decision-making. Then there's just the mechanics of how you get to assign each person the believability. But if I use that example with your doctor, that's how you're making that decision. That's what believability-weighted decision-making is.
This is a pretty witty method to extract the best outcome of a brainstorming that is based not on agreeing group members' opinion on a topic, but on a disagreeing group member's opinion on a topic, and extract this non-agreement part and analyze it. Or in another word, not only to see where the agreement is, but also where the disagreements are, which is often out of the comfort zone. Perhaps this simple but brilliant method can be demonstrated clearer in a Venn diagram that shows all possible logical relations between a finite collection of different mindsets. The Venn diagram depicts elements as points in the plane and sets as regions inside closed curves so that it consists of multiple overlapping closed curves, usually circles, each representing a mindset, and makes it easy to see at a glance exactly what the idea of a person X has in common with the idea of a person Y, and which ideas are different by placing them in overlapping circles. So here this part shows agreements between X and Y persons. Here it shows the agreement of everyone in the team, and these parts are where there are disagreements. What Ray Dalio explains is that we should not get over these disagreements and discard them. We have to understand those disagreements and seriously consider them in our decision-making process based on their merit and believability, and even if it is different or opposite to the decision we are attached to. So, Ray Dalio is explaining us with ultra simple words and a nice story, a highly analytical method to find a mechanism where the best ideas win. Ray Dalio goes on to elaborate much further on this, but because I don't want that the video gets too long, I'll summarize here. Ray Dalio is not a neuroscientist, but he elegantly goes on to talk about 2 selves for each person. One is the logical you, governed by the PFC, the prefrontal cortex in the brain, and the other is emotional you, your fight or flight response that is controlled by the amygdala. It is quite powerful and not always so obvious for us why we do certain behaviors. According to Ray Dalio, these 2 selves will be in constant struggle. However, what he does is that making people aware of this at the beginning of their collaboration with his organization greatly helps them to better balance or somehow regulate their 2 selves, and being mindful of this struggle makes them efficient. The final result of these strategies is full transparency, where the office is not a political environment. Then, whether it is work or a project or personal life, the relationships are meaningful, the work is meaningful, and the way forward is clearer and objective and straightforward. So, people become more themselves, people master their efficiency in their work and other aspects of their life alike as they master the balance of assertiveness and open-mindedness. Finally, these principles could be applied to world financial system. It is a wish, but we are allowed to have wishes, right? As we know, nobody questions the fact that the current financial system is corrupt, perished, and is targeted to win-lose direction. Win for the financial and big tech elites and lose for the general population. How to come out of this financial pit of hell that is literally devouring people's money? It is often said that there is no alternative for the current system despite its shortcomings. However, if Ray Dalio's brilliant ideas were applied in a good faith on the large-scale financial system, we could rebuild a financial system that allows all parties a win-win situation that is based on mutual trust, guaranteed business profits for all, which is also a sustainable business concept. In a corrupt financial system, the game makers have absolute say in the market and economic direction of all sorts, no matter what happens to masses and many people who created small to medium-sized businesses with pretty decent business ideas. And remember that the financial systems are not working in an ideal meritocratic way. They even don't work in a democratic way with all its flaws for financial institutions. They are working in an autocratic manner where a few big bosses make the decisions for all. Let me know what you think on this topic and let's start a conversation about this. Hope you benefited from this video. If so, give me a thumbs up. Stay happy and wealthy until the next time.